Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Galactic Wisdom. It's wonderful to be here again after a short break last week. I hope everybody is doing well. Today, we are going to talk about what it is like to have extrasensory perceptions, what it's like to be psychic. And I'm going to talk a little bit also about my tour. And to help us to talk about all of these things, I would like to welcome into our online studio today, Roy and Heather. Hello, you guys. How are you?
Hi.
Hey, Rupert. Thanks for the invite. Hello, everybody.
You're very welcome. I'm going to ask Heather to start off by just introducing herself, maybe letting people know a little bit about her and what she does.
Okay, it's always a loaded question. I am a psychic channeler, tarot reader, I guess. I've been reading tarot since I was 15, and I've been teaching psychic development for 20 plus years, and yeah, I've been psychic my whole life. It's actually something that comes from my family, both sides, my dad and my mom have psychic abilities. So it's really hard not to have them. All my siblings have abilities, and all my cousins do too. So it just kind of runs in the family.
It runs in the family. That's
It does, yeah.
pretty cool family. Thank you very much. Roy, would you like to do the same and just let everybody know who you are?
Sure. My name is Roy from Michigan, down lower part of the state. I when asked, I help people in any way that I can, whether it be offering books or bits of wisdom or do journey work with drum. I was fortunate enough to incarnate to a family of seekers, seers, and healers. So at a very young age, I was exposed to hands on healing, spiritualism, with talking with spirits, Native American path. Uh, Out in California, I was part of a medicine circle where I trained as a doing journey work, taking people on spiritual journeys, introducing them to their animal totems and their spirit guides and their ancestors, and so that's what I do.
Fantastic. That sounds awesome. Now, before we get into this subject of psychic abilities, spiritual abilities, I'm just going to throw up onto the screen here my tour schedule in case anybody is in any of these places. I'm traveling to 26 different states on a 2-month, 33 event contact tour. And I already know that I'll be meeting up with a lot of the people who watch this show during that tour. At each of the locations shown on the screen right now, I will be hosting a contact event. We will go outside in a nice isolated location usually, and we will reach out via meditation, remote viewing, and remotely communicate with advanced non-human entities. And so if you see a location on this tour schedule that's anywhere close to you, or one that isn't, and you like the idea of traveling to, then either join the Patreon group, the Galactic Wisdom Patreon group, which you can see listed at the bottom of the screen there, or send me a message any way that you can. I will put up my email address later on and just say, hey, I'm interested in this event. Can you send me the details? And I will send you the details. I know that some people are going to want to travel to the first 3 events are going to be pretty spectacular. The first one on Santa Monica Beach, we are going to have a very special guest, one of the most well-known of alien experiences on the planet, probably, who's had books published and movies published about them. I'm keeping a little bit secretive about who they are until the last minute for security reasons, but you won't be disappointed because they have a very strong connection with these beings. So we're very likely to see something in Santa Monica. Then we're going and camping in Joshua Tree, which is a very wonderful, isolated spiritual place with beautiful, clear skies. And then, of course, Phoenix, where the Phoenix lights were. And those first three events, I will have a film crew traveling around with me, documenting everything. We're also going to Overguard, that's where Travis Walton was taken. And Roswell, I'm sure you will know about Roswell, why that's a place. The last time I camped there, I had physical beings approaching me on the ground in the middle of the night. So hopefully that will happen again. We're going to Devil's Tower, Wyoming, Skinwalker Ranch. You know, I've just started watching the 5th season of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. And I've been to that location before, and I've had contact with the beings who live in and around and above that location. If you'd like to join me, send me a message or join the Patreon group for all of the details. And you can join me there. We're going to have a really cool experience. And somebody I know who grew up in that area in the went hiking in the Uinta Mountains, which is north of Skinwalker Ranch. It's all the same all the same area where wild and weird things happen. When he was there, he actually saw a portal open up and a bunch of UFOs flying in and out. And so he's taking us back to the same location in those mountains, and maybe we'll be able to see the portal again and maybe even walk through it. So that's just a brief summary of some of the places I'm going to be going to on tour, and I hope that some of you will join me there. I am going to ask Heather, what types of abilities do you have that we could consider either supernatural or paranormal or psychic or spiritually intuitive? I'm not sure. Different people use different words for these things. But what abilities do you think that you have that go beyond what science can presently understand and explain?
So here's my take on it. I feel like everybody has some sort of abilities because it's connected to your senses. And I know I've said this before, but so I think everybody has them. I think just some people are more open to them, or they just have a predisposition for them. But the ones that I have that are the most prevalent that I've noticed in my life are clairvoyance is the number one for me. So I see things. I see things in my dreams. I see things out into the world. Before I got really, really good with it, I would be very leery of being in crowds because I wasn't sure who was really there and who wasn't. There were many times that I saw people and realized later on they were wearing the wrong kinds of outfits, or there were just something off about them. Like one time I was driving in an intersection and I saw a man jog by, and I was like, why is he wearing 70s shorts? It doesn't make sense to me. And it really threw me off. And I don't know why. I said something like 2 weeks later to somebody, and they said, oh, there was a guy that was running, and actually somebody hit him. He got T-boned. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm reliving that experience. But now I can kind of tell the difference. There is a, except for like concerts or really big crowds, sometimes I get a little confused. So that's the big one for me.
Yeah.
I can attribute everything to kind of clairvoyance. I can pick up things and get information off of them, but the information comes through sight. So I think it's just another way of getting energy, drawing the energy into my
Yeah.
being and then interpreting it. So that's my major one. And that also is why I'm able to channel, is because again, it's just bringing the energy down and then just being able to interpret it into sight. So I guess I move everything through that. And sometimes I can like ghosts and stuff I can see, but if I'm channeling or if I'm reading somebody, then it's like a mind's eye kind of thing. I kind of see it here and a lot of times I'll look up. It's because I'm looking at the top of my head trying to figure out what I'm looking at. So, because a lot of people when I do readings with people, they're like, "Why do you always like look up and to the right or to the left?" And it's because um they're like, "You're not paying attention to me." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm trying to decipher the colors and whatever is coming up." So, yeah, that's the big one
Very
for me.
cool.
Yeah.
So that would be clairvoyance. Clair meaning clear, and voy or voyance or meaning see, like French voir. Clairvoyance. Roy, do you have anything comparable to clairvoyance?
Yeah, it's for myself. It's being the receiver of information, vibration, and the interpretation of that, whether it be words, conversations with my spirit guides, or sometimes smells, um, clear audio, clear vision. I get, like Heather was saying, a flash of something, or I also do automatic writing and automatic drawing, and the information is channeled through that way. And my mother taught me how to do that, how to do automatic writing, and so that's some of the things.
Fantastic. And, I never remember all the clairs, so I looked them up just before this show and wrote them down so that I could remember them. But we've got clairvoyance, which is voyance, seeing things. We've got clairaudience, which is hearing things. We've got clairalience, which is smelling things. Clairgustance, which is tasting things psychically. And then clairsentience, which is perceiving the emotions or the psychic energy. To me, that sounds like spiritual empathy. Do you have any of those other things other than clairvoyance?
There's also presentiment, and presentiment is knowing something's going to happen, but not showing what it is. Like, you get that gut feeling. You're like, oh, something's going down, but you're like, I don't know where it's coming from or what it is. But that kind of goes into the clairsentience, kind of. Yeah. So I used to be really empathic, really like to the point where I would get panic attacks. Because I'd go into a room and kind of pick everything up in the room and then not really sure how to identify it. I'm not so much anymore. Not that I turned it off. I just, when I feel that sense or that rush, I go, no, we're not doing it that way. So I've sort of trained myself to figure other ways of picking up information so I can turn my feelings off. And so I can be more of a channel. So that's the big one for me. I do automatic write too, like Ray does, but I do it differently. So I don't really talk about it because when I write, I actually hear it in my head first before it actually goes to the pen. So I'm like saying it as I'm writing it, and I'm like, this is just channeling. Okay, I'm just doing it a different way. So it's not the same. You probably do it differently, correct?
Roy, how do you do it?
Yeah, it's I do some of it the way you're speaking about, and then I do some that I disconnect and then look down, and that's what I wrote or that's what I drew. So
yeah, so it's a little different. So I don't claim it because I'm not. I can't do it that way. But that's the big one for me. And then sometimes clairaudience is the big one for me too. But that's only like that's when I'm channeling. I'll get it more through hearing. It's like a conversation in my head. So it'll be half pictures, half words, and I usually give whatever I'm talking to a voice. But I've learned to do that because I am so empathic, or I used to be so empathic, that if it doesn't have a voice, then I don't know what it is, and then it becomes an emotion, and then I don't know how to deal with that. So I've learned shortcuts to keep myself from getting into that overwhelmed state and to stay in that neutral state. So yeah, I
Well,
answered your question.
yes, you certainly did.
Okay.
It's interesting. My strongest psychic ability is the I call it psychic or spiritual empathy. Now, I know empathy can mean different things. You can, the word can be on different levels. You can just use the word empathy to mean you care about others. You're empathic. You care about when you see somebody being hurt. You don't like it. You care about that. It makes you upset because you're seeing somebody else upset. But you can have it on a psychic level, a psychic or spiritual level. When I think of somebody that I know, my spirit and their spirit somehow connect. My spirit reaches out to them. I connect with them, and often I can feel what they're feeling. I don't know what they're thinking. It's not telepathy, but I can know. I can know if they're happy, if they're sad, if they're asleep. I can also know the status of my relationship with them. You know how sometimes, I don't know, you lose a friendship or you lose a relationship. I can feel the moment when that happens. And sometimes that friendship ends and the person doesn't let you know and they act like everything's fine. That doesn't work with me because I know the energy is just there. I feel it very, very strongly. So that's my gift. I can look at a photograph of somebody and I can know what kind of a person they are. I can look into somebody's eyes and know on a psychic level whether that's a good person or a bad person. I know that's a bit subjective, but I can read them very well. Do you have anything to add to what I'm saying, Roy, to these clairs?
Not right off the top of my head. I think that pretty much covers it.
Well, I'm going to ask you about something else then, Roy, because you and I often meet up in Zoom meetings with a bunch of other people, and we meditate, we astrally project. That's a psychic or spiritual ability where you take your conscious mind to another time, another place. And when we're there, we remote view. Now there's that word view, which is like voyance. We see things remotely. Maybe that these different words overlap each other. Clairvoyance, remote viewing, maybe they're comparable. But we remote view quite often. And I'd like us not to be too specific, Roy, here for security reasons, which I know you'll understand. But in a meeting that we had recently, where we were connecting with alien beings about whether they would be connecting with us on tour during my contact tour, you received a vision of a location. Don't tell us what that location is, but would you like to explain how did you arrive at that? Can you tell us any specifics about that experience without telling us where it is?
Yeah. It comes in like I get a sensation that I get a sensation and I want to draw it. And so I just draw that. What that sensation is. It's not really a visual with all details. It's just like a flash, or like this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm sensing, and I allow my hand and the pen to sketch out what that is.
That's awesome. And what you sketched was a drawing, and I think it's okay to talk about what you drew. You drew a distinctive mountain range, and simultaneously, I think two other people in our meeting were receiving messages from our alien friends. There were a species that I call goblins, and also Sasquatch, Bigfoot. And we had asked them, is there a place where we're going to be able to meet up with you during this tour? And three people received the same answer. Two of them received a state. Now I'm going on, there's 50 states in the US. I'm going to 26 of them, and they both received the same state in their minds telepathically. And then at least one of them drew a picture or saw in their mind where the location was. One of them told me the name of the place. I looked it up, and it is exactly on my route. So it just a mile off the road from where I'm traveling through on my tour, and two people, Roy was one of them, saw what the place looked like. And when Roy showed his image of what he had drawn, the other person said, yes, that's the place. That's where you're going to meet up with them. So it's wonderful to have these abilities, but when it can be verified by more than one person perceiving the same thing, I think that's very, very special. And this kind of takes us to another ability, another psychic ability, and that is remote communication. Remote communication is when you can communicate with beings that are not standing directly in front of you physically. You, Heather, have communicated quite often, I think, in the past with different non-human entities. Would you like to tell us about any of those experiences?
Yeah, it's interesting because I never set out to do it. It's not something that I was like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. Being psychic, yes. I literally I was married. This is like 2007, I think, 2006, 2007. I was married. I was in a corporate job. I was making really good money. I was really good at what I was doing, but I was like, this is not my life. I hate this. This is ridiculous. And I had this idea in my head. I'm going to be a psychic for a living. I'm going to read tarot cards and I'm going to make a lot of money at it. And I got a divorce and I left, moved to Tucson, wrote a book, and made more money than I ever in my whole life being psychic. So I don't know why that idea came into my head or where that came from, because it's not like I ever thought that you could do that for a living. And I just did. And everyone was like, you are crazy. Crazy. Like my whole family was like, what the hell are you doing with your life? Like I don't even know. But it's worked. So great. But I say that because channeling was never one of those things.
But you're very good at it, from what I see. You have open lines of communication such that, for example, Pleiadians have given you technical specifications to make alien technology.
Yeah, and I was just talking to my friend, like you asked me before, have you been doing any channeling? I'm like, no. But then my friend messages me and he goes, I was looking at a star map and I don't know, I got this information about this book and this map and I'm supposed to tell you about it. And I'm like, okay, did you get anything else? He's like, no. And I'm like, okay, we're going to have to channel because it's already happening. Like the information is already coming through other people because I'm not paying attention. But the Pleiadians are the big ones that come through for me. I can read light language for whatever reason. I do not know why I can, but I can. So I can pick out words and situations and stories and stuff. So I don't know. Those are the two big ones. But then I have been asked to speak to blue avians before. Mantis, super easy. I don't know why mantis is a big one for me. And then reptilians and the blue ones, and I can't remember their name off the top of my head. I never can.
Arcturians.
Yes, thank you. For some reason, that one I always forget. But I don't talk to them as much. They've just kind of shown up. But it's mostly stuff about future events. But I'm clairvoyant, so that makes sense to me. It's always future events. It's always you need to pay attention to this, or I get a lot of stuff, and I'm still trying to figure it out. The moon stuff is the big one for me. Like always on the moon. We're always on the moon. There's always some base on the moon that we're not looking at that we're supposed to be looking at, and something about the last stuff I got was about space station, that they're building a space station, like Space Wars kind of thing, like, hey, this is happening and you guys don't know about it, and the government is kind of not telling you about it, kind of thing. And I'm like, that's interesting. But and the one that I always get to, and I still get it, is about there's some kind of in space, there's some kind of frequency or net or
grid.
Yeah, the grid. Thank you. But it's like a grid, and there's like spots that are empty or spots that are not lit up. And sometimes I'm just asked to go there and put my energy on it to light it up. And so I'm like, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, sure. So, but like, so that's something that I see all the time is the moon and the grid. And the grid, for some reason, is always really important. Like, it's and it feels like to me, it's either communication or it's connected to portals or ley lines or something. I don't know. I always feel like anytime I do it the next day, I always feel like something shifted. I don't know what it is. So, sometimes
the moon is a fascinating place, actually. It's been studied psychically, spiritually for a long time, going back, certainly I know, to the days of Ingo Swann, where he was one of the original remote viewers for the CIA and Stanford Research Institute. And he got taken by some, I don't think he even knows what agency it was, but they asked him to remote view to the moon. And he was astonished when he saw people walking around up there on the moon. And he saw bases, buildings on the surface and underground. And he was like, what are these weird looking people walking around with no clothes on? I mean, you know, jumpsuits, maybe aliens, basically, he was seeing. And he was really shocked when, while he was remote viewing them, they turned around and looked at him. They could tell that they were being watched. And that is high level psychic ability. And so, there are definitely bases on, in, and around the moon. Yes, fascinating. Thank you very much, Heather. And of course, Roy, you've had numerous communications with advanced non-human entities. Would you like to tell us about any of your communications?
Sure. I'm not sure of all their names, but the Pleiadians and the Arcturians and the Greys and Sasquatch. During our meetings and our travels, having conversations with them and receiving guidance from them. And for myself, it the messages are basically all the same as far as my own personal path is to remain and develop an even stronger sense of unconditional love for everything and be a source of that, which is part of my life's path, and the trainings and experiences I've had have all basically pointed to that, to have unconditional love. Part of my training with the medicine circle was what they call hawk medicine, where you have the vision of experiencing what an individual has experienced as if it was yourself. What they saw, felt, heard, tasted, and experienced. And if you haven't learned how to let go of judgment and have unconditional love, you can carry that as your own trauma and have it affect you as if it really did happen to you. So there was a lot of cautionary lessons to learn before advancing to the next step of having that ability. And with the aliens, they recognize that. And I'm just kind of getting a message that I'm doing the correct thing as far as what my intent is on how I wish to experience my life, and that the abilities that I have will definitely assist others down the line.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago through grandmother in the medicine circle, you can't help anybody unless they ask for it, because they're not open to it. And to attempt to help somebody that is conscious and maybe doing something that might be detrimental, what you're doing by acting on that without their permission, without their asking for it, what you're doing is you're saying they're wrong for walking that part of their path. And it took a lot of practice not to, because I am a very helpful person, not to want to reach out. But if you can reflect back in your own lives and maybe offering some advice to somebody and they snap your head off because, well, who asked you? I didn't ask you. So that was a lesson for myself to learn, is that you can offer or suggest or let somebody know that I might be able to help you, but you don't just want to enact that. So
Absolutely. And I think we're moving into a very important area here, because we can talk about what psychic abilities are, what you can do with those psychic abilities, how to communicate with other entities, for example, but then you get to the next stage, which is what can you learn from having these abilities? What can you learn from having conversations with these different beings? If we look into the future of where we could be evolving to, and we can do that by looking at other species that are out there that are more advanced than we are. We can do that by seeing what abilities we presently have, and what would happen if we were to strengthen these abilities, like the psychic abilities we're talking about. Our future is where our psychic abilities have increased and strengthened and improved to the extent where we can easily feel spiritually connected with others, where we have that empathy, where we do know what other people are feeling, where we're moving towards being more of a collective, where we're connected with each other in a way that we really care about each other, and therefore we do what's right for each other. And you can't move in that direction when you can't do it harmoniously if you're holding on to hatred or judgment, like you were talking about, Roy. We've got to be able to let go of the judgments, the feelings, the actions that we put upon others, that we do based on our own personal individual sensibilities. We've got to become more open to the diversity of people's feelings, emotions, experiences, and beings, before we can really evolve into being a harmonious collective. So maybe I'm not articulating this very clearly, but we need to be nice to each other. It's really that simple. We need to stop attacking. We need to stop reacting in vengeful. I mean, a lot of people love it when I say universal peace, universal love, universal happiness. They love it, they love it, they love it, until I say something they don't like, and then they hate me. And it's like, didn't you these people are inconsistent, because you can't just suddenly switch to hatred when before you were saying universal love. Universal love is where we love everybody unconditionally, where we care about everybody unconditionally. It doesn't mean we need to like everything that everybody says and
Right.
does, but we need to be wise enough to understand that if we are going to live in a better world, a more harmonious world, we need to not be hostile. We need to be peaceful.
Right. The way I put it out, Rupert, is honoring your path. And I may think that your path is going to lead to detrimental things for yourself. I may give you advice and my experience to help guide you possibly away from that which is about to happen. But I'm going to honor your path. Whether choice you make to go left or right, I'm going to honor that choice and decision. Agree with it? Maybe, maybe not. It's not mine. It's not mine to judge. It's not mine to. My dad told me many years ago. He said that love is giving of the freedom and independence to another person to be what they want to be, to do what they want to do. Anything other than that is control.
Yeah.
You set an intention on how you wish to experience your life, what you want in it, who you want in it, what you want your life to be like. And if you have an experience brought into your own experience, if you have an experience that doesn't work to help you fulfill that, that's not a judgment. It's just an observation.
Right.
And then you can address that individual or that situation as such. This doesn't work for me to help me fulfill how I wish to experience my life. Please honor my path.
Absolutely.
And there's no hate, there's no anger, there's no judgment. It's just calling it what it is.
Yeah.
And I think if we continue to develop that and express that and be that and emit that, a person can walk into a room and change the entire vibration of the room and the energy in the room and everybody in there. It's been said that when Mother Teresa entered a village, the whole village felt that and vibrated at that level of love, as other people have done in the past. And it's very true. And they've even done studies They take 2% of the population of the city and meditate and emote love, and the crime rate drops down for that period of time. So imagine what we can do as more and more people start vibrating higher, and that's what's occurring with the earth and the energies and the shift that has been taking place, the shift in the collective consciousness. It hasn't reached a critical point yet, critical mass, where it clicks over everybody. But what we're experiencing on Earth is an increase in vibration, and with that increase in vibration, more and more people are seeing reality that exists in this world of duality, and they're able to distinguish now what is lower, slower, higher, faster. You want to call it good and bad, if you want to call it right or wrong, it is what it is. It's a lower, slower vibratorial rate taking place and manifesting in a physical experience for the purpose of experiencing that. We're coming to a time in this dimension of no longer needing to experience what we're not, so that we better understand and know what we are. We are a spirit with a body. We're not a body with a spirit, and that we are all connected, and we're all one. And being nice to each other and being kind to each other is, in fact, being kind and being nice to yourself. So my dad also had taught me a long time ago that, yeah, you can love your neighbor. Some neighbors are pretty hard to love, but you can love all of your neighbors. But if you don't love yourself and you don't respect yourself, it's impossible for you to love your neighbor. So you gotta love and honor who you are, respect who you are, honor yourself, and then be that energy, be honoring, be loving, be kind to yourself. It tears my heart when I hear people talk bad about themselves. Oh, I'm stupid, or I'm an idiot, or I'm foolish. It's like it just tears my heart. And it's like, no, you're not. You're having an experience that just doesn't work how you want to fulfill your life. It's that simple. You're not wrong. You're not bad. You're just having an experience.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Roy. Thank you for your wisdom. I do just want to say hello to some of the people who are out there watching. Thank you very much, Diana, for being here. I always appreciate you contributing to our show. Hey, Jonathan, nice to have you back with us. And Liz, good to have you with us. Liz is also has some of these abilities we're talking about. She likes to connect with us in our Zoom meetings. Brendan, hello, Brendan. Thank you for being here, all the way from Australia. And Laura, aloha. I'm not sure if you're still in Hawaii, but I hope you've had and having still a very, very nice time. What does Mandigo mean? I don't know what that means. Maybe it's another psychic ability. I'm not sure. And Diana, and yes, thank you very much, everybody, for all of your positive comments there. You know, I would like to, we've got less than 10 minutes now. We've got about 8 minutes now. I'd like to just briefly let some of the people watching know how they can increase or practice or improve their own psychic abilities. And I'm just going to show you a few examples. Okay. I've got 4 different color pens here. Okay. Look at the different colors. There's green, there's yellow, there's purple, there's orange. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them behind my back, and I'm going to just pull out one, and I'm putting it in my hand close to the screen. And I'm going to ask everybody to close your eyes, everybody who's watching, to just close your eyes, and in your mind, tell me or think about, what color is this? What color is this? And if a color pops into your head, the first color that pops into your head, that's liable to be the correct one. If you think about it too much, it doesn't work so well. What color is this? And I'm not going to test people, but this is the one.
Yeah.
You got that, Heather?
I got it before you put it behind your head.
Yeah.
I knew it was already going to be that.
So that's an interesting thing then, because we could ask ourselves, what ability is it that's helping people determine this? Is she looking into the future and just seeing what's
Yep.
plainly in front of her? Or is there some sort of astral projection into the future? If it's not in the future, some people see it in real time. Is it astral projection and remote viewing? Are they looking at what's in my hand? But there's another alternative, and the other alternative is that they think of, say, orange, and then the strength of their desire for it to be orange manifests that it becomes orange. That possibility is increased by people's desire for it to be orange. There's and that the other possibility is some form of telepathy, although in this case I didn't look at what it was. So we can do experiments like this with psychic ability, and yes, it's psychic ability, but what kind of psychic ability is it? That's an interesting thing to experiment with.
I know for me, I always try to look ahead. So I try to anticipate what you're going to do.
Okay.
I know that sounds weird, but instead of trying to figure out what's behind your back, I think about what action will you take.
Interesting.
But that's how my brain works. So yeah, I'm terrible at these. I'm just letting you know now.
It's it's interesting how you do this. Here are some Zena cards. Zena cards are these things where you have different shapes. When I think of Zena cards, I always think about the opening scene of Ghostbusters, or
me too.
The second scene where he's experimenting in a lab. What's the name of that character? Dr.
Bill Murray's character, but I forgot what it is.
Yeah, and he's electrocuting people if they if he doesn't like them. So I'm going to select a card from here, and you see if you can guess what it is. And I'm sliding one up here. Now I can see what this card is. So you can try telepathy by looking into my mind. Imagine in front of you a blank screen, and some form of a shape or a pattern appears in that screen in front of you. Or you could astrally project to here and look at the card, or you could jump into the future like Heather does and figure out what it is. And I'm not going to put people on the spot here by having them guess what it is, but
so interesting. With that one, I got squiggly line and square, and I was like, which one is it? And I couldn't figure it out. And I had both in my head at the same time.
Yeah. So and you can buy these online, they're very cheap. And you can practice this, and you can practice doing it in different ways. You can, with a partner, a friend, you can pull one of these up and you can look at it and you can see the image and you can try and transmit it telepathically. Or you can take one without looking at it, put it face down on the floor, and you both try to predict what it's going to be by looking into the future. You can point it away from yourself or from others and try and zoom around the other side astrally to see what it is, remote viewing it. Or you could try and manifest it. Now, I'll tell you a little bit of manifestation stuff. We haven't talked about manifestation, but manifestation is an example of manifestation is if you take a coin and you toss it, well, it could be heads or tails. So in the future, there's two possibilities, heads or tails. And you can take the power of your mind and not do telekinesis on it when it's spinning in the air, but you can put the power of your mind onto the future possibility when it's either heads or tails, and you can pull that possibility into your path. This is I'm seeing some interesting chats in the comment here. That's cool. Oh, I'll talk about that, Bill. Yes, thank you. You can put your intention on this being, for example, heads. So I want everybody at home to put your intention on this being heads. I'm going to toss the coin, and I'm going to, everybody, see a head, see heads pointing upwards. I'm tossing the coin, see heads pointing upwards, and that's what we got, heads pointing upwards. Well done. Now, I know that's just 50-50 and who knows, but you can do this 100 times, and you can significantly push the number of heads up, or the number of tails, as you wish. I would like to let people know that, well, can I show this? I can show this. Here we go. Okay, let's have a look at this one. This weekend, we will be streaming a fundraiser for Shaylee Koss, starting at 12 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Somebody involved with somebody in the paranormal community, their daughter Shaylee very sadly has cancer, and we are going to be hosting a fundraising event for them on Saturday, and I will be popping in there at some stage. Andrea Perron is also going to be in there. I understand that there will be quite a lot of guests attending, and so please keep an eye out on Sunday at around it starts at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. Please keep a lookout for that because that's a very worthwhile cause. We have run out of time, and I'm sorry. I wish I could have both Roy and Heather speaking more on this show, because it's fascinating listening to both of you. But any last words, Heather, before we say goodbye?
Just that I feel like, don't be afraid of, I want to tell these people, don't be afraid of like just trying these things out. Everyone thinks it's a special gift, and it's not. If you play around with these things, you're going to get better at it. Just like anything that you practice, you'll kick ass at it after a little while, and you'll see that things start to happen. And that'll empower you to do more things in your life and take more risks in your life.
Fantastic. Thank you. Roy, any short last words?
Set your intention. Let go of fear.
That is fantastic. Thank you very much. I would like to let people know that if you would like to come on one of my tour events, just send me an email or join my Patreon group, the Galactic Wisdom Patreon group. I've gone a little bit over time now. I apologize, Bill. Please don't be mad at me. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Peace, love, and happiness to all of you. Take care. Goodbye.